What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be looking at some Toronto Maple Leafs trade rumors. Now, there's going to be a couple different things in here that I wanted to discuss, and this is being recorded on Sunday, October 20th, 2019, of course. So if you're watching this at a later date and something's happened already that's in this video, I can't predict the future. But basically, on Saturday's headlines, we all watch it, we all love it. It's basically like my favorite thing. You know, of course, not the hockey game itself is the best thing, but I always tweet out, I say I wait for Saturday's headlines. Every Saturday it's the best, and it has Elliot Friedman and Chris Johnson as the insiders, and they're two guys that I really look up to. And there's some stuff said about the Toronto Maple Leafs that I'm sure some people would be interested in, because a lot of people have discussed things about their roster and, oh, who's going to play here, who's going to do this. Well, the first little bit of information we got has to do with, the dealing of the Tavares injury and Hyman and Dermott when they come back. And of course, starting off with Tavares, a lot of people were freaking out and saying, look, the Leafs can't do anything. They don't have money to add anybody to their roster. And a lot of these people don't understand that the Leafs have extra forwards that they can put into the lineup, and they've contributed. So you don't have to freak out about that. The Leafs have enough players to do this. Well, if another injury happens, like, let's say, Andreas Johnsson, knock on wood, right now it looks like, the x-rays came back negative and he's going to be fine. But if, let's say, there were another injury, there could be some problems, because by next Saturday, Hyman and Dermott are going to be ready to come off of the long-term injured reserve. Well, at this point, it looks like we all know Tavares is out for a couple weeks. That's settled. As far as we know as well with Johnsson, he'll be in the lineup, he'll be fine. And I believe they play tomorrow, which is Monday. So basically, regarding the Dermott and Hyman stuff, the soonest that they are able to come off of the long-term injured reserve is next Saturday, so after you're watching this video. So basically, the Leafs have been discussing moving some players out, whether it's sending them down to the minors or via trade. And the first name that was brought up was Nick Patan. Now, if we're looking at Nick Patan's stats, I think he's done quite well as a Maple Leaf. He's kind of been underrated. His speed has been something that I wish the Leafs would be able to utilize a little bit more, but with the amount of people that they have in their lineup, Patan's not exactly getting all the minutes that he should be. Through 3 games this year, he has 1 point, he has an assist. Last year with the Toronto Maple Leafs, he played in 5 games and had 1 point as well. But the thing that I like about Patan is he usually looks like he's giving 110% every shift. He's not afraid to get in corners. He's not afraid to hit. And I feel like if you gave him a little bit more ice time and a better opportunity somewhere else, there's a good chance that he could actually play some decent minutes and contribute to a line. I'm not saying he's going to be some, 40-point guy instantly. I'm just saying that he could be a guy that goes to another team and at least chips in for a very cheap price. Like, the guy's not even making $1 million. So basically, what happens is the Leafs need to clear out some space, and that's why I brought up Patan, because when Dermott and Hyman come back, you won't be cap compliant. But what a lot of people are misunderstanding here is that the Leafs do have a lot of options. 2 of those are guys that have already cleared waivers. So one of them being Nick Patan, which they're going to try to move, and Kevin Gravel. So you can instantly say 2 of those guys going down will be Patan and Gravel, and if there's a Patan trade, then he's already going to be gone. So then you need to clear 2 more spots, which leaves Nick Shore, Jason Spezza, Timashov, Martin Marincin, and Justin Hall. Now, here's the thing. I've actually not really hated the play of Marincin and Justin Hall. But if we're going by what Babcock usually likes to do, he likes Marincin because he kills penalties. So if I was to throw a name out there, I actually think Justin Hall could be on waivers as well. He's a guy that they hope will go down to the Toronto Marlies and continue to play some big minutes down there. But I could also see Marincin if for some reason Babcock likes the way Hall's been playing, because if you do look at the advanced numbers, Hall's actually been quite good. If I was the one making this decision, I would send Marincin down as the 3rd guy. So far it would be Patan, Gravel, and Marincin, and then you decide between Shore, Spezza, and Timashov. Well, with Spezza, you're hoping that he can start to produce a little bit more if he keeps playing more games. Timashov has looked fantastic. Got his first NHL goal yesterday. I'm excited for him. He's giving 110% just like Patan. He hits. He's not afraid to get in the corners, and he can put up some points, and he's shown that already. And I think that he can definitely be a guy that can do some good for this team. He has 4 points in 6 games played, so not too bad. Spezza has 1 point. Shore has 1 point as well. But listen, I think Nick Shore is going to be the guy that gets put on waivers, and he probably will end up with the Marlies. So if I was to give my picks that would go down, it would be Patan, Gravel, Shore, and Marincin. But I can see in those the three forwards, the two forwards, Patan and Shore being sent down, and the two defensemen being Gravel and Hall. So the Leafs do have some decisions to make. There could be trades, around any of those guys. I don't think there'd be a one with the Marincin, Hall, or Timashov, and I don't think there could be one with Spezza, but you never know. The relationship for some reason has been a little bit sour between Babcock and Spezza. It looks like Babcock has kind of thrown some shots. We all know Babs sometimes will throw some shots at a player that he's not exactly wanting to play most of the time. So again, the Leafs do have some options, and that's probably what's going to happen there with Hyman and Dermott coming back. But the soonest they can come back is next Saturday, which, if I'm looking at the calendar, that would mean that they can come back on the 26th. That's the soonest that they can come back, October 26th, and that's when the Leafs would have to make some moves by. So you can see 4 guys being removed from the Leafs roster by then. That would still give them an extra, and they might be able to have a couple extras, but you're definitely going to see the cap being moved around a little bit here, and some players being moved out of the Leafs roster. Now, here's another interesting thing. Konstantin Ocula, and I'm probably saying that incorrectly, but Akulov, I believe it's Konstantin Ocula. He plays in the KHL, obviously the Russian league. He's a Russian free agent. And I believe that this would kick in after this season. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens, according to Chris Johnston, have been scouting the 24-year-old to bring him to the NHL next season. So yeah, next year. So there's a lot of NHL teams interested in offering a deal to Okulov, but some are not too confident that they will be able to land him, because the Leafs and Canadiens are the two favorites right now to get him. He's a forward playing with Red Army this year, and the way that Mikheyev has played for the Leafs this year, a lot of people around the Leafs organization, I'm sure, and fans alike, are probably like, okay, we can bring this guy in. He'll probably be on a cheap deal like Mikheyev, and it's just another guy that the Leafs can fill their roster with next year, which is probably going to have a good handful of Russians if some of these other guys from the Marlies, make their way up to the roster, because the Leafs have been handing out those contracts. Some haven't worked, like Ozhiganov, and, the Zaitsev deal only worked for a couple of years. But, they're very interested in coming to the Leafs because, Mikheyev's over here, he's enjoying his time, he's playing well. And you know what? I think that it would make a lot of sense, and I think that it's really cool that the Leafs and the Habs are both finalists, two Canadian teams going after him. He has 5 goals and 13 points in 17 games so far, after scoring a career-high 20 goals and 31 points in 48 games last year. He also helped the Moscow club capture the KHL Gagarin Cup. I could be saying that incorrectly, no disrespect, with 7 goals and 14 points in 19 playoff appearances. So, listen, it looks like he's a guy that could at least make an impact in the bottom 6 for any team. And it looks like the Leafs and Canadiens are the two teams that the guy is looking at. Okulov is interested in one of those two teams. If I'm him, and maybe Mikheyev can help, I don't know, bring him over. But if the Leafs end up getting another decent Russian forward that can come in and play, significant minutes in the bottom 6 and be able to expand the roster with good depth, then that's all you need. Mikheyev has literally looked like one of the best players on the Leafs to start this year, and he definitely has been. Like, if you look at it, forget the numbers that he's putting up. He's doing quite well. I believe he has 3 goals already, but he's just playing hard. He'll hit. He'll like I said about Patan and Timashov, like, obviously a way different size. Like, Mikheyev is a big dude, but he's not afraid to hit. He's not afraid to get in the corners, get out front of the net, bang pucks in. He's got some speed to him. Like, there's been a couple plays where he's burned the defenseman. He's burned a goaltender, Jimmy Howard, able to, move the puck over and score. He's looked really good. I'm a big fan of him. Soupy, Mickey, everybody loves him. I think that he's a great addition, and if you can bring Okulov over, Konstantin Okulov, which would be a sick name anyways. I'd love to hear that every night. One of the Habs or the Leafs might be able to grab him. Another team could come in and make an offer. But I think that if most teams right now, and if Chris Johnston and Elliot Friedman are saying, like, a lot of teams are kind of backing off because the Habs and Leafs are favorites, I would have to imagine that he's probably correct because he usually is. So that was just some Leaf trade rumors, some signing updates, really cool stuff like that. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 7,000 subscribers. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.